Hi, this is Laura Lee Chin again, reporting for Mike Cookshelf at the Chocolate Salon here in Pasadena. I'm here with Art Pollard of Amano Artisan Chocolate. How are you today, Art?
Great.
So tell us a little bit more about your chocolates here that you brought today for the event.
Well, we make single origin chocolate, which means all the cocoa beans come from one origin. And some of our chocolates are actually single estate chocolate, which means it comes from one single plantation. And so I'm going to walk you through a few of these.
Okay, great.
One of which comes from the Ocumare Valley in Venezuela. That's why it's called Ocumare. And this area has been famous for its cocoa since the 1600s. And it produces some of the most highly sought after cocoa in all of Venezuela. And it is absolutely phenomenal. This particular harvest, the cocoa has a slight spicy note to it. And so what we did as a chocolate maker is we try to accentuate that and to bring out the very best of that harvest particular flavor. So while it has a little bit of cherry and a little bit of plum notes to it, it also has this beautiful spiciness to it. And that's something that seemed to come out this particular harvest. One of the other things that we do, too, along the Ocumare lines, is our Ocumare milk. Now, most chocolate makers use their low-grade cocoa for their milks and a little bit better quality cocoa for their tarts. We use top quality beans for everything that we do, including our milks. So this is made with the exact same beans as our Ocumare dark, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And we use a super premium milk that goes along with this. It has a really nice creaminess to it. Next, we will go to Chiagua, which is the next valley down from Ocumare. And actually, there's a little valley in between called Cata, but we'll ignore Cata for the moment. And Chiagua is actually famous for producing some of the finest quality cocoa. It is absolutely phenomenal. It has this beautiful melon note to it. And it's it's very gentle and a very relaxing chocolate in terms of flavor. The next one, valley down, skipping over Choroni, is a valley called Chihuahua. And Chihuahua is literally the most highly sought after cocoa in the world. And it's the only way to get to this particular village is by boat. It's about a 45-minute, half-hour, 45-minute little boat ride in a little fishing boat that you hire from the little fishing village of Choroni. And they harvest their cocoa. They dry it out in front of their church on their church's patio. The church is almost 200 years old, and it's very traditional Spanish colonial church. They actually still have a cross out in front that's 400 years old. And so it's pretty amazing because the tradition was, because they had slavery back then, was that if you could an escaped slave, you could, if you could escape and reach this cross, that you'd be free.
So what kind of flavors do we have on this particular chocolate?
This particular chocolate is very interesting. It's got a little bit of creaminess to it, a little bit of nuttiness, but it's also absolutely amazing. It's got just many, many layers of flavor, which is what really makes it special. And so the flavor is deep and dark and complex. It's got a kind of a traditional chocolate flavor to it in the sense that it's rich, but it has, again, creaminess, nuttiness, and a variety of different fruits like blueberry and blackberry and plum and cherry, all very subtle. But those are just natural flavor components of this particular chocolate.
Wow.
It's just absolutely spectacular. Sounds
very complex.
It is very complex. Next, we will do guayas. And this particular cocoa comes from the Guayas River Basin in Ecuador, about an hour out of the city of Guayaquil. And we work with the farmers there, as we do for every other chocolate that we make. And this particular chocolate, it's very rich and robust and smoky with a little bit of blackberry notes. and green banana. It hasn't made it into our production yet, but the last batch of beans that we got from this area is really interesting because it doesn't just taste like green banana, it tastes like very bright, fresh banana. You taste it, you're like, wow, this tastes like banana. I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing. I mean, I love it. It tastes great, but maybe for, we're expecting something different. But that's part of the fun of chocolate. Every season is a little bit different. Next, we will go to Montana, going back to to Venezuela. And Montana, this particular cocoa grows way up in the mountains. Most every cocoa is grown down in valleys where it's protected from the shade and from too much sun, and especially from the wind. But these trees somehow have managed to survive way up in the mountains in Venezuela, and they're absolutely phenomenal. And it's got a little bit of, this one's interesting, it's got a little bit of spicy nose to it, but it's also got a really strong marshmallow component. And next is our, and I guess this is our last one. This is our Morobe. And Morobe, the cocoa comes from Papua New Guinea. And this also has many layers of flavor like the Chihuahua. But this one isn't, the layers of flavor aren't subtle. They are in your face. And the flavors here would be like a lime or a grapefruit component to it. And then it's also got this leathery earthiness to it. And the leatheriness and the earthiness just really makes it spectacular. But it's not as rich on the actual chocolate flavor. You got all these other flavor components. So what's really interesting is this makes it like an absolutely incredible pot de crème, because it has enough character to it that, like, rather than just getting lost in the milk and the cream when you're making the pot de crème, these flavors stand up, and when the pot de crème's finished and you bring it out of the oven, it's just absolutely a marvel to behold. So it's really something special. And by the way, we offer a lot of these things to chefs, and they're used at some of the top restaurants in the country. So.
All right. Thank you so much for your time today, Art. I mean, these are a wonderful selection to choose from. And if you have it, check out, where can we purchase this locally, or where can we find this?
You can find our chocolates in specialty food stores all over the country. If you don't see it in a specialty food store near you, be sure to put a request in. The chocolate buyers always want to know what you really most want to eat. Of course, you can always get our chocolate at www.amanochocolate.com. That would be a given, I suppose. And like I say, we even offer it in bulk for chefs. So,
thank you for your time today, Art.
Yeah, thank you.
This is Laura Lee Chin reporting for MyCookShelf.com here at the Chocolate Salon in Pasadena.